get your chair sideways. We're going to use a band later on. So let's go ahead next to the chair. We're going to tighten, squeeze the seat.
Lisa, we're not muted.
Oh, I didn't mute everybody. Sorry.
Oh, why do we have to be muted? Maybe we want to talk.
Okay, there we go. Mute all. Okay. All right. So your chair is nearby. Squeeze your seat firmly. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull back strongly. Tighten the seat. Tighten the thighs. Squeeze the belly. Pull in and up with the urinary muscles. Hands forward, open and close. Backward arm circle, further stretching it through the collarbones. Remind the seat and the stomach to stay contracted. Reach up. We'll come to the center and behind the neck. And up again. And reach up with some side bend. Lift to the center, reach back and up. Let's bring both hands up. Reach and reach and reach and around to the back. We're gonna light touch on your chair, maybe one finger or two. We'll bend the knee and swing to distract and stretch in the hip. And let's go to the other side, that bending, swinging, to distract in the hip. Then squeeze your seat again. Let's kick back toward the seat. Keep your knees together. We're almost touching, but not quite. And then let's do a double kick. Really warming up the knees with this. And also using the back of the thigh muscle. Okay, now chair there. A finger or two if you need it. And we're gonna step back on the ball of the foot, so like a back lunge. And we wanna kneel as far as you can go. Maybe even touching the knee to the ground. And back up, step forward. We'll go to the other side, that back lunge, ball of the foot, kneeling and back up. The most important thing is form. So you're keeping your shoulders up and back. You're really never looking down, always looking forward. Step, muscular control, good form. Maybe your knee touching and back up. We're thinking of kind of how we might get down to the floor. Back, fingers here if you need it. And that lowering and back up with keeping that form. And then we'll step forward. Then we want to do a big stretch on the back of the chair before we go to some balance work. So fingertips on the chair, big step back, and then lowering the head so your ears are between your arms. Feet about hip width apart. Let your knees bend a little. And then just push your seat back toward the wall behind you. Fingertips on the chair. And kind of lightly, like let's lift one hand. Lift your other hand. And you can see how your back muscles can really support you quite a bit. You lift, alternate lifting hands. Then push the seat back, stretch more. We're trying for a long, flat back. And then straighten one knee, straightening one knee, and then straightening the other knee, and bending, and then a deep breath in. As you breathe out, straighten both knees, And then go ahead and step forward. Okay, and let's go ahead, a breath in, arms out, or breath out with arms down, over, bringing the elbow close to the hip, to the center, and then hips stay forward, twist the upper body to the side and forward. Hip to the other side, and then turn, hips forward. It's just the trunk twisting, and over, and a turn, and over, and a turn. So working on those muscles in the midsection. A breath in, and a breath out. Now we're going to take a breath in and fold to the floor. And if you need to bend your knees a little when you get over there, that's fine. A breath in, and fold over. You want to be comfortable, so to go ahead and wag your head to relax the neck. And if you can, straighten one knee at a time. If you're a little tight, just try straightening one knee at a time. And then we'll bring the fingertips to the knees, bend your knees, and then lift your chest forward. Let your back arch, stick your tailbone out, and then let's curl the body and look towards your lap. Look forward with some arch. From here, what we're going to try to do is just take the hands off the knees, lift the shoulders, so you come back to where your shoulders are over your hips. But we have those bent knees, but still kind of a straight back. Pull the belly in to keep too much arch from happening. And we're going to try to lift one knee at a time. Now next to the chair, you can use the chair if you need to, but you're shifting all your weight onto one leg and then the other. Now one leg at a time with your chair there, we come up and then shift the pelvis so your back is not arching. We're going to try a kick. One leg at a time, getting a little more comfortable with that shift and balance so you're kind of steady on the one leg as you kick. Or I have one knee bent, so I'm kind of not my full height here. And the kick. Okay, and we'll straighten up. Take a breath in, a breath out. Just one side with a leg to the side. A breath in and out. Other side. In and out. And now without the breath, we're going to see if we can put the chair there and maybe the chair a little behind so you have room on both sides to kick out. Let's see if we can go out and up on the toe. So out and up. Look at the other side. Out and up. So half of a jumping jack without the jump. Just going to the toe and the toe. And then we're going to straighten the legs, shift the feet hip width apart, shoulders back and down, seat contracted, and practice just going up on the toes, gaining control where you can go up and pause and hold it with a firm ankle, weight toward the first and second toe, and down. And a lift, firm ankle, weight toward the first and second toe, and down. Twice more. A lot of control, a lot of contraction in the body, and down. Firm ankles coming up, holding, and down. We'll do a little knee bend to stretch the calves. And then we'll do another type of toe rise. We're going to do one arm forward, opposite leg back, and come onto the toe. So it's like half of a Superman. Up and up. A lift and a lift. Let's do a little bend, a little swinging the arms side to side. We'll separate the legs a little and we'll throw the arms up and down. Loosen in the shoulders. Okay, we're getting ready to go into some impacts with some lunges. So since I'm on vacation, I didn't bring my speaker. I'm going to turn on some music, at least to help me keep the pace. Starting with the stomp. The double. Double slow. Back to a single, out, and in, and out, and in. Try a little stop and jump, stop, jump, and we'll try to go fast, sideways, center, other side. Try to make it really firm in the feet. Try to come close to the chair, start to some lunge. Forward, down, back. Forward, down, backward. Back, down, back, down. Let's go forward again. Front, switching legs every time. Back, and back. Again. Front, one leg. Forward, other leg. And back each leg. Lunge. Chair is there if you need a little help. Toes, pedaling. Breath in. Out. And now for a jog. Try forward. Backward. Forward. Backward. We're going to try double timing. So fast foot movement, super fast. Sideways. Other side. Really using the hip muscles. Center. Pedal. A breath in. A breath out. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. Hands at the side seams. Going over. Hands reaching toward the knee, but really keeping this top shoulder back so you're not twisting. You're just side bending. Other side. Top shoulder stays back. Each side again. Hand over and back, and then feet firm. We're gonna let the whole body twist. We're gonna straighten one arm and rotate. Follow that hand with your eyes. Other hand. So you let your hips twist also. That's a bit of joint recovery for that. And then go ahead and we're going to get our chairs ready. Get your bands handy. Guess that's good much. Okay, we're going to bring this at the waist and stand where you feel your legs against your chair. As you bring this at your waist, bring the elbows back. So you have this lot of stretch across the collarbones, and you're using your upper back muscles. And this will be tight on your waist. It's like a tight belt across the front of your body. Feet hip width apart, and you are touching the chair. And check that your chair is centered behind you. And then we're going to bend the knees, stick the seat out, check in with your knees, make sure they're still separated. Keep the elbows pulling back, and let's see if we can slowly go to the chair and come back up. We're going to pull one arm back. Now you really feel yourself using the upper back muscles on that side. We're anchoring firmly at the waist with the other hand, and other elbow stays back. We're going to come down and up. We'll trade. Anchor with this one, elbow back. We have a straight arm reaching back. And we'll come down and up. So reaching on control. Now we're just going to bring that arm forward. One hand anchoring at the waist. Using different back muscles, down and up. Let's bring that one down. So I have a straight arm reaching forward and up. And I'm going to lower, keeping my knees separated, and come up. Let's bring both hands to the front. They can be anywhere out in front of you. And we'll lower part way. And then on this one, both hands up, you feel your stomach and your back working strongly. And we'll come down and up. And one more time, just slowly down. And back up. Okay, let's bring it up. Back to the waist. Try to get it firm. Pull the elbows back. And see if we can pull both arms back to straight elbows. And we'll come down slowly and rise. And this is, you feel this right in the upper back. And down. And stay there and go ahead. Put the band aside for later. And we'll take our shoes off. So, let's start with getting halfway forward in the chair. And we'll bring the shoulders back and down. And drop the hands, your palms face in or even slightly forward. And then you pull in the belly. So you're in this position of good posture. The trunk muscles are being used, but not extremely strongly yet. Let's circle one shoulder backward twice. And then the other shoulder backward twice. And leave those shoulders back and down. Those arms are still held in close to your side. And turn your palms forward at least 45 degrees and pull in your belly. So you're in this called Brugger's postural relief position. Keep the belly firmly contracted as we lift the knees while we're keeping the shoulders back and down. So now the trunk muscle's working more strongly. We're going to come onto the toes with that march now. And you come back down on the toe instead of the flat foot to increase contraction in the stomach muscles. Okay, we'll bring those legs down and we're going to turn sideways in the chair. Let's go this direction. So just take one leg around and we'll let this leg drop, this leg forward, and then think of your back, think of your spine being straight, kind of think of being straight from your shoulder to your knee. So if you can, to move that foot back a little to get this leg perpendicular to the floor. You can hold on to your back of your chair because it feels a little tippy. So you can use the back of your chair there. And we'll do a big backward arm circle, really stretching in the shoulder, keeping the shoulder healthy. And then we'll open and close, thinking of really spreading the hand wide, lifting to the side, and then circling the wrist twice one way and twice the other way. And then we're going to watch the hand and rotate, touching the opposite shoulder with this hand. And a touch, and then all the way to the back. So because your seat can't move, getting a lot of spine rotation and rib cage rotation. And then we'll just drop that hand and we'll let it swing. Now let's bring this leg forward and scoot over to where you're more firmly on your chair. And we're going to work on bone density of the wrist by lifting your full weight or part of your weight. So we bring one hand, heel of the hand on the chair, other heel of your hand on the back of your chair, straighten the back, give pressure with the heels of your hands that starts to lift your seat off of your chair. And if you're okay with it, you can press harder and lift all the way. So this is only if you have no pain in your wrist or your shoulder. Otherwise, you stay and you give lighter pressure, but you still feel all that force into the bone. And if you're stable, contract your seat, push your belly out, and then back to the chair and slowly down. And then we can do that one more time, either light pressure or full pressure, and even possibly that trunk strengthener, straighten out and coming down. Now this hand can just rest lightly on the back of the chair now. This hand can rest lightly kind of towards your hip, and we're going to straighten one leg fully, point the toe, lift the heart, and swing out and in. So we're wanting to strengthen in the hip as well as the pelvic muscles and the stomach muscles, the thigh. So we get that going. Now leave it out, a knee lift, come to the ball of the foot, and then we'll stretch the hip by having the knee pull toward the screen and even back, and then bring the knee in, touch your other knee, give a squeeze, knee out, and knee in, give a squeeze, and knee out. Then bring your hand around to the front corner. So I just moved from here over my leg to the front corner. Now I want to shift back out where I'm slightly off the front edge of the chair and do another hip strengthener but with different muscles. So I'm going to let the leg come down and even pull back and then have the knee come up. So I just barely maybe graze the floor. I have to point the toe real firmly so I don't get stuck on the floor. And that back and forth. And then we'll bring that foot here and we'll bring the other foot around and face forward. Before we go to the other side, we're going to relax the back, wide knees. We'll bring the hands kind of behind your hips here. Lean forward, flat back, and then curl up, tuck your chin, and unroll. And then leaning forward, flat back, curl up, tuck your chin, and unroll. Then we can bring this one leg kind of to the center, and we're going to shift, turning the other direction. And then try to get that alignment of this front thigh hanging straight down. Straight back and lifted heart. And the arm circles can help get that alignment as we go back. As you reach up, straightens the back and lifts the heart. Try to keep that lift. And we'll come down. And then we're going to open and close, really spreading the fingers as we reach towards the screen, and then kind of relax the fingers so you can circle fully in the wrist, twice one direction, twice the other direction. And then we're going to do that rotation of the spine. Watch your hand as it touches your opposite shoulder. Reach. Watch your hand as it reaches behind you. Watch that hand. And then we're going to let it swing for the shoulder to relax in that way. Okay, then we're going to bring this foot forward and scooch back on the chair and do this bone density work. So heel of the hand on the chair, heel of the hand on the back of the chair, feet flat, and light pressure to start the pressure into the bone. And then if you can, we would do more pressure and lift the seat. And then if you're stable, to lift the hips forward, then back over the chair and down. And then if you're still feeling okay, to try it again, the light pressure, maybe more pressure to lift your hips, and then maybe the hips forward and back over and down. And then we lighten up our grip. One hand back here, one hand light on the chair, straighten one leg, point the toe, straighten the back. Strong straight leg goes out toward your screen and then back in until your knees touch. Out and in and out and in. And one more time. Out and in. This time out, and we come up on the ball of the foot. Kind of reinforce your straight back. And then a stretch, pressing the knee. So I press it toward the screen and then even back that way. And then in until it touches my other knee. And I squeeze out and in with the squeeze. And then out. And while the knee is out, I bring my hand up to the front corner of the chair. I slide front edge a little bit. Let that knee lower again. Now I'm going to point the toe and do that other hip exercise. Knee forward, that knee back, and a little bit of a kick toward the ceiling. See, it's so good for the seat muscle. And up, and back, and a kick, and up. Back. And we'll just bring that out and we'll step back to the center and let's come halfway forward. We're going to do wide legs. We'll bring the hands out, and for the back we're going to lean to each side and hug. So leaning over, let your head fall towards your knee, hugging and stretching, but the neck is relaxed because your head just falls towards your knee. Arms wide in a lift into the other side and hugging. Arms wide and up. Bring your legs a little closer together. We're going to bring the arms down. We're going to do a hip and ankle exercise next. I don't have a clock, so I have to check my phone. Okay, so we went across the ankle over the knee. And so there are adaptations. An adaptation is to cross like this. You want the knee, you want to be in a position, like if you do that, you may want to be way on the edge of your chair where your knee can fall out. Because the idea is to work on this external rotation of the hip. If your hip is more flexible, I'm a little further back on the chair, but still well in front of halfway back. I'm pretty far forward. We want to try to bounce up and cross that ankle over the knee. And then if adjust it so it's there firmly. If you need to use your hands, you can. And then think of your hip muscles, some focus on having those muscles let go. Let your hip rotate so that your knee can fall out and fall toward the floor. Shoulders back, heart lifted, and you can hold on to the back corners of your chair, and we're going to circle the ankle while we're working on the hip. So in this again, that slow, complete, full motion, and circle the other way. This is about keeping full motion, so slow and deliberate. And then when we're done with that, contract the belly to see with control now if you can lift that off and slowly lower. And we'll go to the other side. Remembering you can go forward and let your knee rotate out. That's good rotation for the hip. If you think you can get a little more, I mean, since you're at home, one thing is you could just put your foot up onto a footstool or something, a little higher, and then rotate like that for a little extra rotation. But then we go really high by getting onto the other knee if you can. So we'll kind of give a bounce and get that up there. Think of the hip. You can certainly feel where there's tight muscles. Just focus right on those areas. Think of them relaxing. So it becomes less effort to be in this position. And then go ahead and fully circle in your ankle. One way, and then fully circle the other way. Full deliberate movement. Okay. And then we're gonna lift off with control and back to the ground. Let's take a breath in and a breath out. Circle the shoulders back. Okay. We'll do a few more foot exercises. Let's start by just lifting the toes. Hands can be on your thighs, a little light pressure to straighten the back. So you want that straight back, lifted heart, wide shoulders, and then curl your toes. Feet flat, lift the toes, and now try to spread the toes. Even your little toes spreading out, big toes spreading in, and then curl, firmly curl. And then lifting and spreading the toes, little pressure on the thighs to straighten the back, and then curling the toes. And then we'll go to flat feet. We're going to scooch a little further forward. We're going to cross the hands, contract the belly, and lean back slowly, and then lift up. And lean further forward, coming up. And one more time, contract the belly, back, and to lift up, leaning forward. We'll move the hands up. If you're having no back pain and you're feeling fairly strong, in the midsection. You can change your hands. If it's a hard exercise for you and your back hurts at all, keep your hands here. You're up here, we'll lean back and forward, and we just want to feel more effort needed by the stomach muscles because you just made your upper body heavier. And to lift and to reach, and then reaching both hands up and give a lift with the arms. We'll come up. Now slowly back. This part's a little harder. And to lift up, we'll just come to the center and then slowly back. And we'll bring the arms down. Now we're going to straighten both legs. Push the shoulders back. Contract the seat, and then we'll do a belly breath and some leg lifts. So in through the nose, breathing in, and let the belly expand. Out through the mouth, contract your belly, pushing the air out, and lift both legs. Now pedal the ankles. A little more ankle movement. Firmly point and then firmly flex. And we'll come down. Another breath in through the belly, through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. Compress the belly. We're going to lift. And then we're going to do a windshield wiper move for the hips. Toes touch, heels touch. Toes touch, heels touch. And toes touch, heels touch, and down. We're going to come back to this position, but first let's do a dive to the floor to relax the back. A breath in, and as you breathe out, dive forward to the floor. Let yourself dangle. Let your head dangle so your neck can relax. Walk the hands forward. And then we're going to lift the hands, lift the thumbs point toward the ceiling. Keep reaching forward. Your fingertips are reaching forward. Your head in between your arms, and use your back muscles to bring you up. We'll come in, clench the belly, lean back. We're going to straighten both legs again. We're going to do a belly breath in and expand the belly. Press the belly, breathe out through the mouth. We're going to lift. Then we're going to do something to really work on endurance for the stomach muscles. Straight knees, flutter kick, and then relax. A breath in through the nose, expanding the belly. Out through the mouth, compressing the belly. A lift, about 4 inches. We're going to go out and in. That combining the hips and the belly is always vigorous and very strengthening. Just one more. And in. Now if you can, a little knee lift. Into the floor. Now this time we're going to dive forward with the knees closer together, and we'll lean over the knees and hug behind the knees to stretch your back. Let your forehead fall towards your knees. Now stay leaned over and bring your hands wide to the sides and lift up. We're going to go ahead and get our bands. And we're going to move to our lunging while we use the bands. So this whole combination of full body work for bone density and strength. So we're going to start holding the band in front and starting with the forward lunge. So if you have concerns about your lunge and you need a chair nearby, we're going to lunge forward so you want a little in front of you. So it's going to be a forward lunge to a flat foot and lower. And then we're going to just bring the elbows out to the sides and then rotate up. You kind of frame your head and down. We're going to leave it here, step back. Step forward with the other foot and lower. Come up to frame your head and down and step back. And we'll do 2 more of those for the rotator cuff, the lunge for the hips and the leg strength. Up, down, and back. Other flat foot coming forward. That lowering. Up, down, back. And we're going to go to some backward lunges. Let's first take a deep breath in, kind of widen the hands. A breath in, a breath out. And we're going to put the weight of the band under the front foot. Step on it. So you're approximately in the middle of the band. You have some fairly good tension there. And it's going to be a backward lunge to the ball of the foot. Step back and then lower. Let's impulse a few times. Elbows into the sides and bring the elbows to rotate backwards. We're going to slowly work the biceps up. This time hold it up and we'll do a few more impulses where it takes a little more muscle strength with the elbows bent. Okay, and let's lunge forward. We're going to lunge back again. Same foot, palm of the foot, lunging down. We'll do 1 biceps and bring it forward. Lunging back and lower. 1 lift and up. And just 1 more on this side, lunging back. And coming up, down. Coming to center. Let's put it under the other foot. Okay, and widening the shoulders, bringing the elbows back. Always looking forward with this. The head, the heart, always forward. And we're going back on the ball of the foot. And settling into our lunge. Shoulders back and down, very wide. We'll come up and down. And then we're going to come up and hold it. And we'll do a few nudges. Just feeling how that's pretty good thigh exercise. Let's bring those down and step forward. Adjust your shoulders. Elbows kind of point back. Step back. Coming up and down and step forward. Step back. So trying to get in some repeated lunges. Biceps pulling to the shoulders and down. Elbows are always stayed right at the sides. Step forward. Step back. Bend. Elbows right at the sides. Pull up and down and step forward. Shoulders back and down. Last one. Pulling up and down and forward. Now from here, I guess I feel like we need a deep breath. Bring this forward, a breath in, a breath out. Let's fold it in half. Bring it overhead for some side bends. And over. So my thought is, getting a little out of breath, always good to stretch the ribs. The muscles want to contract. Just keep your body stable with these lunges. So good to get a stretch. Just keep your breathing free. And a breath in and a breath out. And we're going to come under both feet. So I'm going under both feet. We're going to finish with side lunges after this. So, but under both feet, and then we're going to bend the knees. Do some nudging. You might be able to get a little lower in your bend, but you still want the shoulders back over the hips, then pull in the belly to keep the low back flat. And we're just going to pull right toward the armpits. So actually working on thigh strengthening and the deltoid muscle, which is one of the upper shoulder muscles. Let's pull and pause. And to pull and pause. And then we'll straighten and bend and nudge a few times. And we're going to go to an abdominal exercise where you really want to be sure you come back up straight and then pull your belly in. And we're going to do this diagonal box, one side and the other. If you're contracting your belly, you really feel those stomach muscles working. If this is a little hard on your shoulder, you can keep some bend in the elbow. But if you're okay, you can straighten your elbow. My knees are mostly bent slightly. So I'm going side to side. Okay, so that's a pretty good workout. Notice to step a little to one side and do some sideways walking to start working on the hips and these sideways movement positions before we go to the side lunge. So just feel how your seat and the size of your hips really have to work with that. We're gonna move the band. We're gonna take a small loop, bring it into the heart, and we're thinking of that side lunge where you do kind of a high step, but don't go too far to the side. And shift all your weight vertically over that foot. Then seat out behind, and you feel more weight into the hips, what you're looking to feel heart forward. Lift that other leg, gaining control, maybe a little bit slower with lift. Okay, and then let's push forward and forward. We're going to step back. Out to the same side, align yourself, chest forward, push, and coming back. Out to the side again, aligning ourselves, seat way back, chest way forward. Now we're going to push back. Push back, going for a straight elbow, and back in. And this side again, getting that alignment, push back, and let's go back to that leg lift where you feel more force into the hip when you lift that leg. And we're coming back. Now let's lunge over to that side and bring the other leg over. A breath in and a breath out. Coming back to the heart. Now we're going to be lunging the other direction. So that lunge, chest forward, seat back, and then just to make sure you really got the weight over on that hip, you do that bit of a leg lift. We'll do an arm to the side, and an arm to the side, and then we'll spring back with a high knee lift, high knee, and over, shifting, out, and out, springing back, high knee lift, over, leg lift a couple times, seat back, chest forward. We're going to bring the hands down, separate them a little, bend the elbows, and pull to those wide arms. Back in, up, over, align, pulling out, and out, and back in. Okay. I'm gonna put the bands down. Check. Yeah, so we're going to go to the floor now. I'm changing my space to a different room. So you'll want your chair near your floor mat if you think you might need it. I have like 10 minutes in here. Oh, I have my floor exercises right there. Oh,
Yeah,
there.
sorry. You didn't even look?
Nope, I got it all figured out, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
You know, sometimes it makes people today when they see other people because they hardly see anybody.
Oh, I saw. Okay. All right, so we were practicing that back lunge early in class to get to the floor. So if you have a chair, if you think you need it, the plan is we're going to do a back lunge coming down. And if you need a chair, to have a chair right at your side for that. So we're going to practice a few before we go to the floor. Hand on the chair if you need it. Just think how that would work. And let's try the other leg. Going to the back, ball of the foot, you're going to lunge down. And then we're going to go ahead from here and lay on the side. You would be on the floor on your elbow. And we're going to start with both knees bent and checking to make sure your elbow is right under your shoulder, and then giving a lift of the ribs. So your rib cage is not sagging, your rib cage is straight. And then we'll straighten the top leg, and we're going to lift, not kick, some little lifts of that straight leg to the side. And you feel it right, kind of in back. That's the side of your gluteal muscles. Now we're going to lift, bring it a little forward, and do a circle type movement. Keep your rib cage lifted. And then move it a little behind your body and do a circular movement, one direction and then the other direction. It really worked all of the hip muscles today. Well, now we're going to rest it on the floor. Lift your rib cage, and we're going to do the side plank where you keep the knee down, where you lift your hips, and if you can, bring your arm out, but you could use your arm, your fingers for extra support. And if you still have more left to give, we're going to do a little side leg lift in this position. And we'll lower back down. And we're going to finish with a stretch on this side before we go to the other side. So go ahead and lay all the way down. Bring your knees together. Bend your knees further and your heels end up close to your seat. And we're going to open the knee toward the ceiling and close. And think of the bones sliding and gliding in your hip joint as we raise and lower that knee. This is to gently stretch and stimulate that joint capsule in the hip. Okay, then with your knees bent, use your arms to push yourself up. And we're going to go over to the other side. And we'll come down onto the elbow. We start with the knees bent, but kind of pushed back a little. This hand can be on the floor to offer support, and then we lift the rib cage. This is the hardest thing, keeping this rib cage lifted. We're gonna straighten the top leg and do some leg lifts. So thinking of keeping the rib cage lifted and lifting, not kicking, a straight sideways lift. So especially not to the front, but sideways, maybe even pulling a little back. And then we're going to change that to a hip circle. So that lift of the rib cage, leg comes a little forward. And lifting your rib cage, we're going to circle one way, circle the other way, and then pull the leg back a little, circle one way, circle the other way. So we've really stimulated all the hip muscles, working on strength and endurance. We're going to lower that leg and get ready to lift the hip. So one knee is bent, the other leg is straight, and we'll lift the hip. And then this is the first strength challenge, to possibly lift an arm. Now if you feel like you can hold your hip up, then go ahead and lift one leg. You can do this 1 or 2 times, or 3 or 4, and to lift. Then we'll bring the hand down and lower ourselves. And then we want to finish with a stretch where we'll lay all the way down. You could put your arm under your head, bend the knees further, your heels come towards your seat, and then we have one knee moves up to the ceiling and then back down. So it's kind of slow, deliberate, controlled for stretching. So kind of bring it up and pause. Let those tissues stretch. And down. Okay, let's go ahead and push ourselves to sitting. Let's go to hands and knees. And if you need a chair to get up, to have it nearby, we're going to go ahead, come up to the knees and bring one leg forward. So your one knee forward, tuck your back toes. And then for extra help, you could use a chair. You could use hands on your knee, or you could try without extra help, just lifting up. Okay, and then we'll finish with our 5 deep, vigorous breaths. Okay, so then 5 deep, vigorous breaths. Go. Standing again. Feet about hip width apart, palms forward, and again, shoulders really wide, into the nose, out through the mouth.